Okay, it's a rainy day in London, but I'm not going to let the rain dampen my enthusiasm here because I have got something very special in front of me. What you can see in Cubase is a collection of recordings, and these are the starting point of my old DAT tapes. Okay, so these are recordings, these are tracks, these are finished tracks, remixes, all kinds of stuff. A lot of these have never seen the light of day. I haven't been able to listen as I've been recording in because I've been working. I was literally just pushing the DAT play, recording it into the computer. So this is my first chance to have a listen properly. There's one tune that I identified, and I've named it down the bottom. So that's one that I have listened, but everything else is going to be a voyage of discovery. These are not necessarily going to be in chronological order in terms of, you know, the order of the tracks in terms of when I made them, but the majority of these are going to be from the 90s. You know, we know the 90s is a golden period, and these were tracks that were produced on hardware and, you know, very primitive sequencing compared to today. Majority would have been made on Cubase 3 on the Atari, and with hardware like the Roland S750, Yamaha TG500, and just a couple of outboard effects units. The one thing that I will say that will be really interesting is that I never used compression. In fact, I really didn't understand what I was doing on a technical basis when I made the tracks in those days. It was only in, I would say, post 2000 when I started to learn how to do things properly and understand the technology and understand the theory. So these are very innocent tracks. These will be the tracks. Some of these will probably sound awful. I got a feeling some will sound great because there are some things that I've got distant memories of that are going to be, I really hope they're in here, but I've also got lots of other tapes that I haven't had a chance to transfer just yet. Let's have a look. I'm going to solo this, and so one of the things that's going to be interesting is to take a look at things like the level. You know, these are recorded onto DAT tape. There was no bus processing, no limiting, so you can see there's a real variation in terms of the volume. And if I wanted to do something with these today, I'd have to master them. You know, that would be something to do. So let's have a listen to the first one. Let me get my cursor back to the normal one. I'm going to zoom in. These are literally as the tapes were. I've got no idea. I'm going to have a listen from the beginning. Okay, I recognize this. So this sounds like an alternative mix of Spend the Night that came out on one of the vinyls. I don't know how many of you heard this version. I'm going to have to turn it down a bit because I can't hear myself speak. It shouldn't affect your listening, of course. Yeah, I remember this. Okay. Can't remember this bit. I think I did some kind of filtered key thing that rises up. Yeah, I can hear that coming in. Yeah, it's mad when I listen back. Yeah, I can definitely hear things that I would do differently now. Very interesting. Yeah, you know what? It's an interesting version. Okay. Okay, so it follows the structure of the original mix. Have a look over here. That's mad hearing that one again. Okay, okay, interesting. What's next? Oh, same thing. Maybe, I mean, back in those days, I would have made notes. I couldn't find any notes, but possibly what I did was different settings on the mixdown. So, you know, whereas these days we do a file save as and name things on the projects so that we can bounce things out anytime. Here, literally, I was recording down to tape with all of the gear running in real time. I can't really hear any difference there. What's this? Got some of these This might have been a little sketch. That's got a wicked vibe. Maybe I could sample some of these and turn them into something. What a shame that's so short. And it's got a fade out as well. Alright, okay, what's next? Gosh, look at the volume fluctuation here.
Sound for your soul.
Okay, I think I remember this.
Sound for your soul.
Okay, that's alright. It's cool, it's got some good ideas, some textures that work, but something about the production feels a little bit lacking, maybe the mix down. I've got no idea what that is. Let me have a listen to the next one. Okay, I think I know what this is. A couple of really great local friends, Brett and Danny. We went under the name, I'm trying to remember what it was now, Sarcastic something, Sarcastic Soul. Okay. So it's a real disco kind of sampling thing. Roy Ayers sample in there. Yeah, I think this was Sarcastic Smile. Everybody Party, I think, the name of the track. That's mad. You know, some of the percussive stuff that I've been into, you can really see and hear the origins of that. Yeah, I seem to remember playing in that timbale on the TG500 probably. Oh, that's mad hearing that one again. Wow. What's this? Gosh, this would be a tricky one to mix in. But I like the intro. I was definitely influenced in those days by that, the Ministry main room. This was probably about 93. These kind of tracks would always work really well down there. Wow, this is interesting. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to bring up an EQ. Just take a look at that bottom end. Okay, and just taking a look at the RMS here, the average compared to the peak. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, real bottom heavy bassline kind of track. This is definitely like the Ministry main room, the box, about 4 AM. Amazing. Yeah, I like it. Whoa. What happened there? Wasn't expecting that. Oh man. Well, you lot know that I'm into my chords. I always have been. These are lovely. gosh. There's that DX, you know, the lately kind of lonely bass. Wow. I don't know how dance floors would react to this because it's such a contrast to what happened before. Wow. You know, the really mad thing is that I played the chords in, but I would have used the MIDI to kind of help me in the editing. I don't know how I thought up chords like that. And it's really mad. This is like going back in time. Yeah, music has such a strong resonance in terms of what it can make you feel. Wow. I don't know what to say. Same thing again. So I must have applied a different setting here. I can't. Wow. Gosh, do you know what? I'm feeling almost speechless by that one. That is something really different. You know, really takes me back. Wow, I don't know what to say. Okay, next. Ha, okay. I know what this is. So this is quite possibly the track, the song was one of the first, or was the first one I ever recorded in a studio. This is with a guy, a friend called Cameron, and he was a singer that was introduced to me. This is the demo, I think. Yeah. Quite possibly my first ever vocal production. Oh my gosh, it sounds really, really amateurish. Wait a second. No, do you know what? This is the one, this is the studio one. Because there was a girl in the studio who did the backing vocals there. Nice strings. Wow, mad. Do you know what? I think this is maybe about 90, 91, 92. Well, I wonder what camera's up to now. Wow, that's mad. So this is old. This is much older than the previous DAT up there. I like this dub. I remember, do you know, actually I remember in the studio there was a genuine 909, you know, even in those days they were very special pieces of hardware. I remember, yeah, this was on a genuine 909. So that's a dub of that track that we were just listening to. Very primitive, but there's a real magic to that. What's next? Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. This is like the B-side mix. Okay, instrumental. Oh, man. No. Not so keen on that. So maybe this was the studio version. Yeah, very different. You can hear the kick sounds very different on this. It's weak. Yeah, I'm not so impressed. Almost painful to listen to. Some interesting ideas there. Okay, so this is the vocals of the girl who sang BVs. Oh, no. Okay. I'm a bit confused. This sounds more like the studio version. Sounds cleaner. Maybe there were 2 sessions that I can't remember. Okay, all right, enough of that. Okay. I think this is another tune with Cameron. Wow. Mad. So interesting listening back to this. What? It's like Lenny Kravitz. Okay. So clearly a very different sound from me, but that's what happens when you work with singers. You know, you try different ideas out. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, talking of different styles. I mean, listen to this. I remember this now. I seem to remember we wanted to do something a bit like kind of Jim Morrison or The Doors. Yeah, I remember now. Where's the vocal? Okay.
Still the world is blind, y'all. Hold me together with promises. You soon will know I'm changing this time. Many streams in life, the river. Many screams in the screaming, not calling, should it come?
I like that. I like that. That's really quite haunting. Yeah, wow, that's mad. I'd totally forgotten about that. This is such an interesting experience, so I'm kind of glad that I'm sharing it. I didn't expect myself to feel some of the feelings I'm feeling by digging back into this. Let me have a listen over here. Whoa, wait a second, wait a second. Wow. So mad, honestly. I'd forgotten so much. I remember this now. I like it. Such a lovely little collage of sounds like samples and synth together. Oh, amazing. This is really, really, I could almost swear, wicked. Oh, okay. Man, that's one hell of a bass line. The mix is a little bit messy, but this sounds like one to salvage somehow. And I haven't got any parts, no stems. This is just a stereo mix down. I've lost so many things over the years, so many projects, hard disk failures, all kinds of scenarios. Wow. Now this feels like I was trying to write a backing for a singer somehow. It sounds like a verse. So good. I was really experimenting with whoa, okay. This is great. Yeah, that is special. What was it doing? Wow. Wow. I think I remember recording that vocal with a really dodgy French accent. Another one that's kind of badly mixed, but the vibe's good. So potentially with a bit of mastering that could be used. Alright, that's okay, it's okay. Not so big on that one. Okay, so vocals from a song that I wrote. Wow. This is such an interesting journey, honestly. Where are we? Let's check this. Yeah, okay, now I remember this one. This is really early. Terrible drums, terrible. What's this? Wow, the mix sounds really one-dimensional. Wow, that's strange. Kind of disco-y. I don't know how I classify that.
Come on.
Okay. So this is the demo for Work It, which was that was on the same vinyl as the original Spend the Night. Alright, yeah, I remember that. I think I recognise this. Oh. Gosh. Wow. So, that vocal is my old friend Brett's, who sadly is no longer with us. That is, wow. I'm not sure many people knew that he sung. I might have to send this to some of his relatives. Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so but on a pure sentimental basis, it's amazing to hear this again. Production definitely lacking. Yeah, you can tell these are the early days for me. Wow. I need to listen to see if there's any more of his vocal here. Wow, yes, that's so Brett. You can hear it so much in his voice. Oh man, seriously, as if it wasn't emotional enough, going through this, all this history. Okay. Wow. I know what to say really. Another one, another emotional journey that was. And this sounds like this is the original demo to Spend the Night. So primitive. Amazing. And there it is. This is literally the original demo. Yeah, so wow, a bit of history there for sure. I remember this one. I think some strings coming on. Yep, I remember this. Some strings coming up. Yeah, amazing. And bass line and some kind of riff, melodic thing. Yeah, coming up, some kind of riff, a melody with snare. That's the one. But oh my gosh, the production's terrible. Well, I might have to do some kind of recreation of this. I like it a lot. But I mean, it's coming after that track that had Brett on it, so you know, this is the thing about music, isn't it? It has emotional resonance sometimes. And then this one. So it sounds like the demo to Best Friends that I did with Don Ricardo. Amazing vocalist, so nice to work with him. He was known at the time for reggae songs.
There's something I want to say, but circumstances get in the way.
And do you want to know a little story about this song? There was a track, Beautiful People, which was the Barbara Tucker song, and I was so inspired by that. The riff is almost a rip-off. I mean, melodically, the chords are different, but the whole vibe was very, very, very much inspired by that song. It's nothing like it, of course. Wow. So primitive. Is this some alternative pass? And I remember recording this, you know, on tape and having multiple tracks of tape and a few of us standing at the desk turning on and off tracks, recording down to tapes to compile the best kind of performance. That's just, it's so much easier these days to do that kind of thing, of course. Wow. Okay, so let's go on to the next DAT. Just going to take a look at the levels again. Yeah, I remember. This is quite an old one again. I think this one had like a stuttered vocal thing going on somewhere. Yeah. Honestly, it's so mad hearing these. And so much of this has never been heard, you know. I mean, when I say never, it would have been heard by some of the guys that I knew back in the day. But for whatever reason, these things didn't come out. Oh man. Yeah, there's like a vocal, I think a vocal sample played as a riff coming up. Yeah. Don't know what to say. Seriously, honestly, why didn't people hear that at the time? Okay, a remix of Best Friend. I mean, the production's a bit weak, but the whole kind of core essence of the sound, you know, I can still feel that. It works. It works. Oh, wait a second. This is what I think it is. So it's a remix of Best Friend. Oh man, okay, okay. Yeah, I remember this. I don't know if this came out. It's another one. Yeah, I remember really liking this one. Oh man, if only the production was a bit better. Oh man. So I remember playing that and taking the pitch wheel down. So yeah, I had a Roland keyboard with a left to right pitch kind of joystick. Wicked. I like that, I like that. Right. Same? Yeah, looks it. Okay, I've gone too far. Let me try this one. Okay, that's Best Friend again.
Get in the way. I understand, but I don't want this thing to end. So let's just be
So good to hear this again.
good friends, so we can put aside all the fuss for just one moment. And I want the things a best friend can do strange, so we can put aside a best friend. Since I won't get the chance to be your man, girl.
Yeah, wicked, wicked. Same thing again. Ah, instrumental. Or maybe just, I mean, you got some vocals in there, so it's almost like a dub. Same one again as before. Yeah, it must be a separate, different mix down. Ah, wait a second, I think I remember this. Yeah, really raw, simplistic production again. Bad mix down. Yeah, I remember playing that flute thing in. I had no idea what notes I was playing. I was just kind of vibing with it. Whoa. I like it. Nice. I like that a lot. Okay, just a little idea, clearly. Another one I should have finished. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember that. But wait a second, this had this kind of like, it stops and there's a vocal and then comes back. Is it here? Strange, but I like it. Okay, what's next? Oh yeah, I remember. I remember looping that vocal. I think it was like, I don't know, Byron Stingley or someone. Yeah, I remember it's kind of a mad tune. Yep, wicked. Do you know what? When I listen back to some of this stuff, I think I overdid it with the vocals. You know, some of these didn't need so many vocals, but I was really inexperienced. And I was working with a couple of sample CDs. It was like Vocal Bites, volumes 1 and 2. A lot of other producers back in those days used them as well. Okay, cool. Okay, Language of Love, recognize this. Another one, too many vocal samples. Also, production's bad. And not bad as in good. Whoa, wait a sec, what's this? Huh? Oh. Gosh, the levels on this one are very different. I mean, what I'm going to need to do is cut these up and consider mastering some of these and then sending them to labels. Right. Yeah, I remember now. Wait a second, I think this came out. Yeah. Whoa, heavy. Yeah, I remember now. Like this, like that. Yeah, that's the one. Heavy. Do you know what? When I listen back to some of these tracks, there's almost like a punky attitude. Where it's almost like I totally disregarded anything and just did whatever I felt, and there's a real naivety, but there's a lot of power here, I think. So it's amazing to kind of reflect on what I did. Sounds great. I might have to sample some of these drums. Wow. Sounds like a really bad recording. What is this? Seems like some kind of loop. Wait a second. I remember that. This is what I'm looking for. You know, I told you I found something. I named it The Guilty for Love down here. So this is the beats that I need. Because I found like the second half of the track earlier and I was gutted because it felt as if I'd recorded something on the DAT and gone over the beginning. I mean, this sounds raw, but I could probably do something with this. Let me just go forward. Amazing. I think I'm going to be able to piece this thing together now. Seriously, I'm going to have to play you. I'm going to have to jump forward in a second. Oh, it just sounds like a bad recording. I think I'm going to have to get it mastered. Okay, it's not quite right. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to now, so where was I? Number 5. I've got to remember to come back to it. I need to show you this other one, Guilty for Love, right? So I found this, I remember making this. So the beats there are what I need for the beginning of this, okay? And this is just crazy, this thing. So I was number 5. Let me just, I'm just going to say here next, because I know that I'm getting kind of overexcited. I'm going to forget where I was. Right, to listen, okay. Some glitches on the DAT. Right. Okay. I'm not sure what I've got that we just listened to is good enough to paste onto the front of this. But you can hear it's the same idea. But this one's more refined. Yeah. I wish I had this version in full. Maybe there's a way to recover it all, I don't know. Oh, I know what this is. This is the second chorus, so I'm missing essentially the whole intro, the first chorus. That section that we started with was kind of like the bassline section in the middle, and this is kind of like the final chorus, and it goes into another musical section, which is amazing. Let me just show you. We'll keep going. It's not that bit, it's this bit that I was just... No, where was it? Yeah, those pads. I'm gonna have to see if I can rebuild this somehow. I'll have to work out the chords again. Just mad. I mean, seriously, the amount of effort that I put into the musicality without knowing what on earth I was doing is just kind of staggering, really, to be honest. Yeah, this is the one that I listened to, I found earlier. So this was like on a short DAT, and it had kind of like some error stuff at the beginning. It was messy. That's why I've got this. I mean, those chords are just unreal. I'd be really happy if I made them now. See, what I could do is use this as some music and then put some beats around this. Yeah. Yeah, I seriously need to do something with this. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. You heard that original kind of demo thing. That one sounds more polished, but it's chopped off and I've lost the beginning. But I've got something that I could salvage there. So, you know, that one's amazing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's amazing. Just so good to hear that one. Anyway, something's starting and stopping. Okay, I know what this is. Another version of Spend the Night. And I think this is the one that came out on the 4 to the Floor EP. That's the so essentially the original. Different versions. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. I think a couple of these I've managed to find on MP3 and uploaded to SoundCloud in the past. It's alright, another one with the production's a little bit mediocre. Oh my gosh. Don't tell me this one's cut off as well. Do you know what I must have been doing in those days is thinking, no, that tune's not good enough, and then recording over it and running out of DAT tapes because I didn't have much money in those days, and it was a case of you know, just kind of making the most of what I had. It looks like I've overwritten something on a DAT tape there, and again, I think that maybe is what happened before. I'm getting confused. It's been a long day, but oh, this sounds good. Ah, yeah, I'm recognizing some samples here. Slightly cheesy vocal samples, but it's working. Yeah, maybe I could recreate it somehow. I don't know. There's so much to go through here. Okay, another Best Friends remix. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember this. House Music, I think it's called. Slightly obvious title. Yeah, this is one that I put up on SoundCloud before. It's cool. Wow. I need to come back. What is this? I remember it, but wow. It's great. Don't tell me it's another one that stops short. Oh, come on, what was I doing? I just wasn't finishing these things. Interesting. Messy, but it's a lovely vibe. Brilliant. I wonder if this came out. I mean, I remember there's something about that. Maybe that's another one that I did with Brett. I can't remember. Okay, Best Friends remix. Yeah. Okay, seems like several versions of the same mix there. Okay, well we got two more. I thought we were coming to the end there. I hope this hasn't been too much of a boring experience for you guys, but I wanted to kind of share it with some people, just experience it. Let's see what's on this one. Okay, yeah. This is Let It Flow. Wow, I'm so pleased to have found the original for this. This is heavy. It's kind of rough though, isn't it? You know, the mix down could have been a lot better. Oh, wait a second. This is, I think this is another one I did with Brett. This is a B-side mix. Let me have a listen. Yeah. Messy, but I like it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that was great. Really cool to hear that again, but really messy in the mix. This next one, Keep Your Love Strong. Wait a second. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Berlin Soul. Gotta Love You. Oh, if only I could have mixed better in those days. Seriously, I think maybe that's the reason why these things didn't do so well, because my mix downs were bad. But the musical ideas are great. Man, if only in those days I could have got access to some of the vocalists. Oh well. Okay, yeah, this is one I did with Brett again. I remember hearing CJ McIntosh play this in at Ruling Ministry. It sounded wicked. Another mix of Gotta Love You. Oh man, this is another mix of that song. Heavy. But mixed out so bad again. The vibe and the energy is wicked. Yeah, okay, I remember this. This is another one that I stuck up on SoundCloud. I found the MP3 a while back. Okay, somebody changed it, and seriously, trust me, I've got loads of these DATs left. There's plenty more to come, and I'm trying to find those elusive totally dubs. They are somewhere. Okay, So this is a track that I did with Brett. We heard the B-side earlier. Okay, another mix of Gotta Love You. Did this come out? All Night, I think it's called. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think this came out. I think it's called Sax 2. Yeah. Okay, I just can't stop. Yeah, I remember hearing this in ministry. It went down so well. It was that vocal that I just can't stop. It's almost like a siren, like that, and that was amazing in the club. Okay, another mix of Berlin Soul. Oh yeah. Now this one was heavy. This is another mix of Berlin Soul. And those kick drums, I used to take the gain to full on my mixer and bring the fader right down, and the saturation was coming from the mixer itself. Yeah, I remember. That's a heavy beat and bass line thing. Once again, not mixed very well, but the vibe is great. Okay, yeah, I think this one came out. Oh man, seriously, the mixing's bad. But there is definitely a raw energy and kind of vibe, attitude there. Yeah, I remember this now. There's a real kind of variety in terms of the quality of mixing. I was definitely going through a bad stage on these. I think the difficulty at this time was that big, heavy, saturated kick and also the bass line, trying to get the two to work together. Okay. Joey Washington, Don't Want to Use Your Love, Lose Your Love, remix. Another one I remember hearing at Ministry. Heavyweight. Okay, so look, we are at the end of that little journey. That has been it's been a mixture of things. Very interesting, definitely emotional. Also, really interesting to reappraise what I have done and to listen and to see the progression in terms of what's happened over the years. You know. Some of these were a very, very primitive state, and in terms of my knowledge, like I said, it was very primitive. You know, a lot of this stuff was kind of just doing stuff by ear, finding my way around it. A lot of people in those days were reluctant to pass on knowledge. The only person that I came across who did share knowledge with me was Darren Benjamin, you know, Daz IQ, and the two of us became great friends, and we worked together on a lot of stuff. And, you know, he taught me a lot. And, you know, it was great working with him. So, yeah, this is the rawness. This is the stuff when I was working on my own and learning and working out how to do this thing, you know. So, look, anyway, thanks for sticking with me if you've stayed to the end. You know, some of these tracks, they could be remastered, and some of them could be remade. I'm not sure what I'll do with them. If you guys work at labels, if anybody knows anybody, if there's anything that sounds attractive out of there, you know, just let me know, and you know, maybe we could kind of repackage it for today. I know the 90s sound, I mean particularly the genuine 90s sound, is very much still in vogue in some areas. So anyway, let's see. Just let me know how you're feeling about this. This is a new type of video for me, and there will be a part 2 because I'm going to go through the other DAT tapes.